Hey, what is up, everyone? Thank you for joining another Speedcast interview session. I am your host, Zoom CW, also known as Julio. Today, we have a very talented actress that's going to be joining us. She is a rising star in the industry, super talented. You know her as Ultraviolet, um, formerly known as Esperanza Garcia. So we have the super talented rising star Alexa Barajas, and I can't wait for her to join the live. So let's get her on. Hi, Alexa.
Hey!
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining my Speedcast this morning. I truly appreciate your time. Um, how are you? How have you been doing? How during this pandemic, these crazy times? Are you like reading anything, binging anything? Did you pick up a new hobby? I know Vancouver. I mean, I know that in Vancouver things are not as bad as down here in LA.
Yeah.
How is it up there?
Well, I officially learned how to cook. Or, okay, no, I haven't really learned how to cook, but I'm better than I was before the pandemic for sure. And I moved places. I used to be in a town close to Vancouver, and now I'm like actually in Vancouver. So that's been probably the biggest change in my life right now.
Nice. What are you cooking if I can ask? Are you is there anything fancy that you're cooking or
Breakfast is my favorite. Making breakfast is my favorite. So I will always start my morning with a cup of coffee. And then I mean, it's really simple things. I just never touched the kitchen before. Like me and the kitchen were never friends. So now I'm like, oh, I can make some bacon with some eggs and I can I did pasta the other day and I put it on my story. So that's probably one of my most elaborate dishes.
nice, nice.
I just shouldn't
Um,
brag about cooking, and I'm realizing now.
hey, you know what? That's awesome because it's so hard to do, and kudos to all the cooks out there, the master chefs, because that is hard.
It is
You have to
hard.
have lots of patience, right, and attention to detail.
Yes, the patience to cut every like piece of onion the same size. After like the first time, I'm like, yeah, I can do it, and then by the end, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Just however they come out is good. I don't have the patience. Truly, I don't.
Nice. So congratulations on the Flash
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, thank
season 6,
you. Yeah,
Ultraviolet. Awesome work, amazing.
thank you. Thank you
You
so much.
you you deserve it. You are so menacing. You are so convincing in your role. You nailed it.
Oh, that makes me so
Um,
happy to hear. Thank you.
I'm truly happy for you. How was that? How has the ride or the experience been for you so far?
I have like no words for it, honestly. Because before The Flash, I had not been on set for more than a day. And so for The Flash, I got to, before we even started shooting, I got to go in probably like 5 different times to get like the fittings and the hair and the makeup. So even just getting to hang around and like actually get to know everyone there. Because before there was just no time for me to get to know anyone. And now that I can show up and actually be like, oh my gosh, I know these people, it's really, really fun. Like it doesn't feel like work, to be honest, at all. It's fun.
That's awesome. That is great because everyone that I've spoken to that has worked on the show, they feel like it's a family.
Oh,
Teddy
truly.
mentioned this. Teddy Spears. He said, you know what? It's like a family. And when he did season 2, and then he went back for season 5 for the 100th episode, and he said that he missed it so much. And when he got back there, the nostalgia was there, the family feeling was there. Is that how you
Definitely.
felt?
Yeah, everyone is so welcoming. Like from day one, everyone's like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." Like, you really don't, you never really feel like out of place. Like I was like intimidated walking on, but after the first day I was like, nah, this is gonna be great. Like everyone is super welcoming. You never feel like you can't talk or anything like that, like at all. It's super comfortable.
That is so great to hear, and I'm so happy for you. Your portrayal of Ultraviolet was so menacing. But what a lot, there is a backstory to your to why you're doing what you're doing on the show. Why
Yeah.
you're trying to kill your cousin Allegra. You were thought to be dead. Your character was thought to be dead after the particle accelerator accident, right? You were in juvie with your cousin. You were about to jump her into the gang.
Yeah.
There's a very sad backstory because you come from a criminal family. You had a very hard life growing up. And I talked to this to a lot of actors. When you're researching a role or trying to get into that mindset, if you will, you have to think about that sad backstory. Can you talk a little bit about that?
For sure. So from the first episode that we did, I was in episode 2, and I actually got to talk to the writers and Chris, who was directing that episode, and we really got to like understand why she was doing what she was doing, and that really fueled me throughout the season to understand like what was happening. And to me, I felt like such a responsibility because I was like, okay, imagine going missing for 7 years and have no one come looking after you. Like, to me, that was probably like the biggest, like, that's probably where my anger really fuels for the cousin. But at the end of the day, she is the only family I have left. So it's like when you're mad at your parents and it's like, but at the same time, like, they're still your parents and you still love them, kind of thing. So I kind of try to get that understanding of it, and the way she was raised and grew up, kind of like the way her psychology works, and even like mannerisms before Ultraviolet, like how she like was, although you only got to see a bit of it, but that I had to like think about that too. But it was really fun to like dig into it and try and like figure her out as we went.
That's very insightful. Thank you for that. We saw a little bit more, right, on I think it was episode 19, when Allegra is shooting you with a rock, and she's using her powers against you, and then you have a flashback to when the black hole was torturing you all those years, right, to train you to be an assassin. Was it very hard to get into that? When you had that flashback, I know it's early and I'm getting very deep with you, but
no, I love it. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. I remember all these moments. It was interesting because I remember reading that scene on the script and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun to do. And then on the day, that was the last scene that I shot. And I think that was actually the last scene for the episode that we did. And I remember going in and seeing the chair and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't going to be as fun as I thought. Like, it actually was daunting to get in it, and everyone was super like good about it. They were like, okay, like, look, we're gonna do this. Like, I never actually felt like uncomfortable to the point where I couldn't do it, but I definitely got the feeling of like, okay, this, like, it helped me get into the moment a lot. And it was terrifying because it's a dark room. You have no one there. You can scream as loud as you want and still like no one's gonna come. I don't know. Really makes you understand her, I hope. At least for me, I was like, yep, this really pinpoints it for me. At least.
And it really take you just mentioned getting it, your parents, right? You might get into a little argument here and there, but you still love them deep down inside. Now, you still love Allegra, even though you're trying.
I still do.
My impression of that first scene where you just walk into CCPD and you just, you're kicking. Excuse my French, but you're kicking ass. You're kicking ass. You're taking names. You're kicking ass. Of all the police officers at CCPD. And your intention in that scene is to kill your cousin, or else she's gonna rat you out, right? Because you both have the tattoo. But that presence that you had, And I'm going to mention one of my favorite character, which is Zoom.
Ooh.
Um, you had that same presence as when you walked in. You're walking in with that confidence, and you just like, here I am, let's go. How was it filming that scene?
Oh my gosh. So much fun. Okay, so I remember I was like, with costume, I was like, I need heels. I don't know if they had already planned for me to wear heels, but I was like, the heels, it's just like, when you dress up to go out and you already feel like, oh yeah. I was like, the heels, like whatever shoes I wear really help me with that. So I was like, okay, I need that. And then I just had to really be like, okay, you are the most powerful person in the room. Therefore, you're not scared when like you basically, I was just in charge, and it's like, okay, I've been missing for 7 years. This is my time, like this is my moment, and I am just like, it was just like that feeling of here I am kind of thing. Did you miss me? I don't know, it was really just like the moment was like for me, like there was no one. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah.
I mean, you were so menacing, and you were so confident. There's not too many metahumans that could do what you do. But when you walked in and you kicked ass, that was just amazing. And you are so, and I always say this during my interviews, you are so OP or overpowering or overpowered that you could have killed everyone if you really wanted to. But I
Yeah,
think your
that's what
character,
I like to think too. I was like, okay, she
right?
could have if she wanted to. Therefore, why isn't she?
And I got to go back to the scene between you and Grant. Your character says to Grant, and I have it written down right here. You said, "Get up, hero. I want you to die
Die on
on your feet."
feet. I remember. Yeah.
That line was so good. And that tells me a little bit about, your backstory, right? Because you have honor as well. You're just not
Hmm.
this menacing assassin that's being trained by a hole, right?
Right.
How many times did you say that? And was it hard to do that scene? Was there any moments between you and Grant that we don't know about during that scene?
Ah, it's funny actually, because that line wasn't in the original script. That line was added after, and I did that one on ADR. So because I wear the mask for the first episode, and later on we kind of figured out a way. But on the first episode, because all my lines were like, I had to go in after to like record them, and they ended up adding that one. So I was like, oh, that was so perfect, and it kind of worked because the whole time, because I wear a mask, my inner dialogue is just going crazy, which is really fun because I don't have to get any lines, I guess, approved by anyone because it's just like all in here. And so I think in that moment, I was already like thinking something similar, which is why the line kind of like blended perfectly. And it's like that idea of it doesn't feel as good to win if it's like if someone was already down, but if he's standing up and the fight is fair, then it's a real win kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, and you mentioned the mask. This is how, and I mentioned it before, Mentor, you are a rising star in Hollywood. Folks have to watch out for you because
Thank
to
you.
display that, you did a lot with your eyes.
Mm.
You had to, do those mean eyes with that mask. It's very hard to have those expressions with that mask. That's how talented you are because I could see the pain, I can see the anger just with your eyes and your stance, the way you were standing. I mean, what did you do did you practice like in front of the mirror? What was there any technique to that?
Um, well, I try never to practice in front of the mirror because I always think that if I'm looking at myself, then I'm censoring myself. So I have to not think the whole time. I can never be thinking about like anyone else watching it, because then it's like, oh no, I don't want them to see me doing this. Like, I don't know, like I can never think of anyone else. And in that moment, all my focus goes into whatever's in front of me, or whoever's in front of me, whatever the situation is. And I guess in a way, it was almost like I felt safer to be more expressive because half of my face was being covered. So I really could just be fully vulnerable the whole time because all you can see was my eyes. So I think maybe that's why you can like I'm so happy to hear that you got so much from it, because I guess I see myself and I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like I can't, I don't get the same things, I think, but I'm super happy that it was actually transferring, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see the anger. I can see it. And I was mentioning it to my wife when we saw the episode. I was like, "Hey, she really looks angry. She really looks hurt.
Hmm.
She's really hurt, and she wants revenge." That it's very hard, because when you have that mask, you're limited, and by having those facial expressions, that's to make when the audience gets to see that, when that message is driven across, right? I mean, that's just, I think that's very talented acting. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Your ultraviolet blast. Wow. Um,
Yes.
Amazing. How hard was it to do the movements? I've spoken to actors before. They say, you got to pretend that something's coming out of your hands, and
No
how hard is
pretending.
it?
You really got to believe that it's coming out of your hands. And you can, because when you do it, the person or the actor in front of you is going, ah! So then it's like, holy shit, did I do that? I actually got to work on it with stunts. So for my audition, I had to do it. So I was working on it with a friend actually, and we're like, okay, how should we do it? And I remember coming up with it and then maybe doing like a backfire with it. And it kind of came back for episode 19. There's one part where you can kind of see it. It kind of looks like I'm breaking someone's head, but that's how it originally was. And then we ended up changing it to working with stunts to just like work both my arms. And because I've got zero coordination. This is why I couldn't dance before. I quit because I was like, I can't keep up. But somehow, with stunts' help, they were able to get me to get both arms like coordinated to like go like this or like that. And yeah, it was you just got to really believe that something's coming out of your hand and it being like powered from your body. In some of them, when the blast is bigger, it kind of has to feel like it's coming from like building up and then exploding through my arms. It's
It
so weird to
looks
be saying
so
all of this out
convincing.
loud.
It looks so convincing. It looks so convincing, and great job because it looked amazing.
Thank you,
You are
thank
one of
you.
the few. You deserve it. You're well. You deserve it. You are one of the few actresses um, that actually got to kick the Flash's ass twice,
Yeah.
not once, not once. You kicked his ass twice in season 6. You, I mean, I don't. I'm pretty. I mean, you really kicked his ass. So I gotta ask you. There was the
He got
episode
me
that
really
Danielle
good
did, right?
too. Sorry, what's that?
He did the episode. I think it was. I'm trying to remember. It
6,
wasn't a
I
girl
think.
named Sue. Oh, License to Elongate,
There we
which
go.
was directed by Danielle Panabaker.
Ooh, yeah.
There was a scene between you and Grant on the stage, right, when they were doing the auction. And he says something to you, and I know you have a mask, but he says to you, I love Mortal Kombat. You know what my favorite part is? Finish him. How hard was it to film that scene and stay in character and not
And
laugh
not
when you
laugh
hear him?
and not laugh. It was very hard, but thankfully because I have the mask, I was just biting down on my teeth the whole time. I was like, don't do it, Alexa. You can't ruin the scene. Don't laugh right now. This isn't funny to you. Don't like get in it, get in it, get in it. It was very hard not to laugh. It was very, and even when he's coming in, it's so funny. Like how drunk he is or whatnot. Like I was just like, oh my god, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. It was very hard. Just bite down my teeth, and thank God I had the mask.
Well, that was such an awesome scene, and
It was fun.
he gets you in the end, unfortunately. But
Pretty bad.
that I think your character took it easy because you don't know that that's the Flash. You know that's Barry Allen who's
Mm-hmm.
bidding on the suitcase, right, for the weapons. But how? I mean, I can tell that you're holding back. How hard is it to hold back when when you have all these powers? I know it's hard to describe, but can
I
you
think that's
talk a
when
little
like
bit
the
about that?
look comes in, where I can't attack with my being, I guess. So then it's just in the everything that I'm like sent, like that inner dialogue is just going insane. And so I think that's like what I can do. Like that's the only thing I can do, and that's the only thing I am doing it, just like blah 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 blah, and hopefully like it comes through in the intention behind it. And actually something funny that happened that day was, I don't know if you remember this part where he is about to hit me with the bottle and he like kind of goes like this, and then you can just see me like look up. That part was genuine. Like that, we didn't plan that. That actually just happened because he was like about to do it and he's like, I can't just do it. She's gonna like see me do it. So in the moment he just went like this, and of course, because I'm paying like so much attention to what's happening, I just go, what? And then it like happens. So that part was legit.
That was such a fun scene. Oh my God. Thank you for letting us know that you know, you improvised during that scene. How much did you improvise? A lot, or did you know, did you stay on script a lot?
Kind of, because I don't have many lines. Most of my, like, I mean, not that I do much sometimes. Most of my actions are rehearsed because it's stunts. But whenever I'm just standing, or like whenever I'm not doing much in a scene, it's just improv to whatever comes to my head in the moment, I guess. Yeah.
And how was that experience working with Danielle as a director?
So incredible. Like that was very mind-blowing to me, because I remember watching her on TV when I was a kid, and I remember actually whenever I was first going to audition, I hadn't watched the show before, and so then I started watching the first episodes and I got to see her and I was like, oh, this would be really fun. Like, imagine working with Danielle Panabaker. Wow. And then having her direct an episode was just a dream come true, really.
Were you thinking, oh my gosh, she was in Sky High?
Yeah, I was. I didn't say anything until like the very end, because I was like, be professional, be professional, be professional. But yeah, it was like, wow.
I was lucky enough to meet her out in Las Vegas for an event, and she is the sweetest person ever.
She really, really is.
Yeah, I was like, when I walked up to her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's, you know, because you see people on TV and then you see them in person and it's a totally different experience, right?
Yeah.
You're like, that's Killer Frost. Oh my gosh, she's so nice.
Yeah, and you're just like, hi. You almost want to be a little bit scared.
I gotta ask you, you know, between the scene where you and Sue Dearborn, a girl named Sue, um, the fight scene.
Yeah.
One of my other favorite lines from you, and these are the memorable lines that I love. You said, "Eres una tonta. Bueno, bailamos tango."
Yeah.
Can you talk about that scene?
Yeah, sure. Well, it was fun that I get to speak Spanish, and it was. I remember like when we shot the scene, how when I raised my arm up, I was thinking like, you're stupid. Like, you know what I can do. And then it was like, okay, you know what? Like we were saying from like the other episode, how it's more fun if he was on his feet. So I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna defeat you, let's do it the fun way. And then it's like doing that stance though, like my thighs were burning the next day. Like it was like a lot to be able, because we had to like sit there and then action, so then we would like get up. But in those little moments, like definitely my thighs were not ready for that. But it was really
That
cool.
was such a, that, you know, yeah, when you did that stance, that was pretty cool. And then of course, you know, she exits stage left or stage right,
Yes.
and you know, you were just left there without, you know, the diamond. And then you did a move that I didn't expect. You kind of like just transported out of there.
Oh yeah. By the end.
That was just, to me, you know, it was kick-ass. It was just awesome. You know, how was that something that was improvised, or was that planned, or
No, that
how
was
did that come about?
Chris actually directed that episode as well, and he was the one who was telling me about it. So it's like that. It was a moment of rage. So it was just, it was cool because it's like the power comes from here, and I'm really just like crushing it against my other hand, and then that just kind of transported me out of there. That part I'm not 100% sure of how that worked, but yeah. It was a
That
moment
movie,
of frustration, I think.
yeah, you were so, you're frustrated, but I mean that power. I mean, like I said, I think you could have, if you really wanted to, your character could have taken out a lot more people.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, I think because of your backstory, I hate to say this, and I know it sounds cliche, but there's still good in you. I think,
I think so
because
too. I think I
right?
think everyone has a duality. I think there's good and bad in everyone. So I think maybe she's overpowered by her bad side, but I think because she's hurt, the hurt comes from like her soft side, I think. And it's just being like brought out in like like manifesting in a bad way, but I think at least that it comes from a good place.
I've asked this question of other actors before. How hard is it to go to that deep part in your mind where you have to portray that pain and you're portraying that revenge? A lot of actors have told me that they go back to their childhood, maybe a traumatic experience in their life. How hard is it to do that, or how do you get into that zone? Matthew McConaughey does his little, right? What do you do? Other actors do push-ups. Other
Oh, I
actors,
have a friend who
they,
does that actually, yeah.
yeah,
I
there's other.
I have to just really see her like her memories in a way and just
Mhm.
understand what she went through and kind of like what brought her to to where she is like in that moment. And wait, what scene were we talking about?
Well, no, how do
the
you get to that deep, the emotional, state?
I think because in my everyday I'm not really tapped into that. It's like the one moment when I can. And because I have the mask again, for some reason it makes me feel more safe to do it because it's like I don't think anyone can really see me for some reason. So it's like I can tap into that more freely, and it's like it's actually really freeing because I'm not censoring anything. I'm just letting it all out. If, I don't know if that really answers it, but I think that's like how I can explain it.
No, yeah, that's definitely a way to get to tap in it. Whenever some actors, like you said, there's like Daniel Day-Lewis, right? Like he stays in character
Mm.
the whole time he's on set, right? That he's when he doesn't want to be broken from that zone, so
Mm-hmm.
he stays. When he did the Abraham Lincoln movie, he was Abraham Lincoln for 4 months or 3 months or whatever. So everyone has their way to get to that place. So I mean, but you got there. You were amazing.
To
You
me, it's the
you
mask.
you nailed
Getting
it.
the mask on, at
The
least with
man
this character, really, really helps me. And some
that
for other characters, I like to do like I like to spend the whole morning like in character and try and understand like, oh, would they driving to when I'm driving to my audition or whatever, like how would they hold the steering wheel, how would they sit, how would they do it, and that kind of gives me like an intel, what kind of music would they listen to, and that just kind of like gets me in the zone. When I walk towards like the audition, like how would they walk, how would they walk fast, would they walk slow, with how are they, like everything just kind of like gives me a bit of an in into who they are. So I do like to do that, and then you're just existing in that moment in the scene, and that way you're not really acting anything.
yeah.
But with Ultraviolet, as soon as the mask goes on, I feel like it's that like freedom of I can just.
Oh, I think we're having some connection issues. Oh, there we go.
It's my
No, you're good. You're
Instagram
good.
limit went on, but we're good. Um, but yeah, as soon as the mask
And thank
goes
you
on,
for that.
it happens.
Yeah, that's awesome. And thank you for that. So, the process for landing this role, I gotta ask you, you know, usually any DC um produced or Berlanti produced TV show is very secretive. When you go in to read for a role, you don't know what you're reading for. They
Mm-hmm.
don't tell you who you're reading for. It's all very secretive, right? Because the the DC fandom is just worldwide. It's a
Yeah,
phenomenon, right? It's huge. So when you went in to read for this role, first, did you read for it in Vancouver or here in LA?
in Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
When you got the scene, Did you know you were reading for The Flash? Did you know you were reading for a DC show?
I knew I was reading for The Flash, but I had no idea how big the character was. I thought I was there for a scene and like an episode and just like a very small thing. Because for the audition, I only had the lines that I have in episode 2. So it was like a page, maybe, no more, maybe half. No, it was like a page. So I just like, I did my little bit and I had like no idea what to expect from it. I went in, I was probably in the room for like 5 minutes, no more. So it was like, oh, okay, that was fun. And I had no idea what was gonna come from it at all.
When you get the call,
Whew,
what
yeah.
is what does Alexa Barajas do to celebrate? What does she do?
I call my mom right away. I always call my mom right away because she was with me when I was first starting acting. I'd be like, Mom, can you please drive me to my auditions? And then I would be like in the car going over my lines. So whenever I book anything, my mom and I are just like, yeah. So I just had to call her right away. And even then, like I just knew I was going to be on the show, but I didn't even like know that I was going to have the suit or like anything that was going to like come later on was all a surprise as we were doing it. But yeah, I got the call. It was very exciting. It was cool. Every time I get a call from my agents, I'm like, oh my God, okay, what did I book? What did I book? And it was unexpected. It was really, really cool.
I'm really happy for you and, for your success. And, you know, um, I talk to a lot of actors in regards to diversity, in Hollywood. And one of the things I love about Berlanti produced shows is the diversity. There's representation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you being Mexican Canadian, how,
Woo.
yes, how does it feel to represent the Latino community?
Ah, what an honor, to be honest. It's amazing. And I love that they let me speak Spanish on the show too. Because the only people I speak Spanish with now is my family. So it's almost like nice to be able to like it. I think that also drops me more into myself in a way, or like a more real version, because it's like when I speak English, I think it's also a part of me now. But it's like that. I don't know. It's really cool that I'm actually doing it. I think for us in Mexico, like you never really think it can happen, or if it does, it's like very rare and it's just not common, at least. So it's really awesome that they gave me the chance.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Representing the Latino community. You make us so happy. Because we don't get that opportunity, right? We have Carlos Valdez. We had Carlos Valdez.
Yeah,
We got you. We got Kayla,
yeah.
and we're so happy that the Latino community is being represented on these Berlanti produced shows. Yvette Monreal from Stargirl representing as well. So thank you so much for what you do. We're
Viva
very proud
Mexico!
of you.
Woo!
Yes. So I gotta ask you, growing up, what inspired you to get into acting? Was there like a particular show? Was there a movie that you saw as a kid and you said, "That's what I want to do. That's what I want to. I want to
That's
be
what
on
I want
screen."
to do.
That, I, want-
I I basically lived in my imagination for a long time. Like me and my brother used to watch Harry Potter religiously, and I wanted to be a wizard so bad. Like I just wanted to be in that world. And then I also loved Kim Possible. Like me and my brother would also pretend that we were spies around the house and have like walkie talkies, and like that idea of just like being in this like other world was always so fascinating to me, that when I figured in grade 2, my school was sponsoring a commercial, and they picked like 2 kids from each grade and they picked me. And when I got to like see what it was like, and we had like Acer computers, which was like what the commercial was for, and the kid got to like drop one on the floor, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a laptop. But it was okay because it was for the commercial, and like they had a lot of laptops, and it was just like, wow, this is a job. People get paid to do this. Like this is what I want to do. Like I don't want to work at an office, 9 to 5. Like no, that is not what I was made to do. I was made to do this. and ever since then, I was like, I want to be an actress. I want to be an actress. And everyone's like, yeah, sure, Alexa. And she wants to be a princess. Like, awesome. And I was like, no, like I'm gonna do this. And somehow, some way, here we are.
That's awesome. That's an awesome way to get in, to be inspired to get into the business. And, you're going to lead the way for other little kids out there. When they see you, they're going to say, hey, I want to do what Alexa Barajas is doing. I want to do what Yvette Monreal is doing. That's, to the little Mexican American or Mexican Canadian, little girls out there, or Latino girls, Puerto Rican, Cubanas. That's great because, they see you up there and they say, hey, I want to be like her. How does that make you feel that you're a role model to other Latinos, Latinas out there?
It's crazy. It's so insane to think about because I'm certainly not perfect, and so to think that other people look up to me can be very daunting at times because I'm like, oh, like it brings a certain pressure, but then I just have to be like, no, just it's fine. Like whatever you're doing is it. So just keep doing that, and hopefully I can lead by example. Hopefully by just keep doing what I want to do, and that will show them that they can do it too. That's something that that's a huge message that I'm like trying to give later on, or as I'm doing it, is that anything that you set your mind to is possible if you just work hard enough, or if you just want it bad enough, I guess.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Growing up, were you into the superhero genre at all? Did you like, any characters out there, whether it be Marvel or DC? Did you like any of that?
I was never really that involved, if I'm being honest. My cousins were, so that's kind of like how I was like informed of it. I was more of a H2O show, High School Musical, like that was what I was into growing up, but now it's cool that I get to figure it out.
And I forgot to mention, you're on a show, you mentioned Harry Potter. Tom Felton was on The
Yeah, he
Flash as
was.
well.
I haven't
So,
gotten to meet him, but that was cool. It's just surreal to think about, like how close to that like world, I guess, that I am, and that I'm also yet like so far, but it's insane to think about.
hey, I'm sorry, Grant is really good friends with Tom.
Yeah.
Um, just
Grant,
saying.
if you're watching this, now you know.
Are you looking forward to seeing the cosplay community cosplay as Ultraviolet at cons?
Oh my gosh. I remember on the second episode that I was doing, they're like, we don't know, Alexa, like maybe people are going to be dressing up as Ultraviolet. And I was like, okay, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Like that's we're not there yet. And to think that this is actually like a thing, or like possible, I'm like, I have no words for this. Like I really cannot, like I can't even imagine what that's going to be like at all. Like it's just too much for me to like grasp.
I think it's going to hit you once you see those long lines at a con. Once this pandemic is over and you see those long lines for your table for a meet and greet, you're going to be like, oh my God, are all these people here for me? And I think that's when it's going to hit you.
Maybe. I don't think it has fully hit me. I feel like everything's still kind of like scratching the surface, where I'm like, oh, these people saw me on TV, and that's what they're talking, like, what? Like, it's just like so, yeah, maybe it'll hit me then.
Let's get to some fan questions, and then we'll get to the ones that were submitted to my page, and then we'll get to the ones that are on the actual chat below. What do you like most about working on The Flash?
What do I like most? I love to immerse myself into a different world and reality. I think that's what I enjoy. And the family too. I love having everyone around and being on set. It's just, and the food. Yes. That's been
Oh,
like
the
5 years
catering?
now.
Awesome. Uh, Now, the next question you do not have to answer because, I know that you signed an NDA.
Hmm.
So if you cannot answer, it's totally understandable. Are you coming back for season 7?
Da, 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 da. Nothing I can say.
That's totally
But I'm
understandable.
happy that people are wondering.
What do you like most about your character?
I, her story. I really, really like her story. And I like that she's getting a way to like say something, even though it's not in the best way, but she's like, not just like standing down, which is I think in my life, usually if like I get hurt by something, I'll be like, I'll walk away. And I kind of like that in this character, I get to be like, no. Like it's like a, I don't know how to explain it. This is the best way I can explain it.
Was it the writer's idea for you to say some of your lines in Spanish, or was that your idea?
Mm-mm, that was all them. All
Really?
them. Yeah.
Um, One of the lines, and I got to read this line back to you because I thought it was so poignant and it was so impactful. Um, um, was, Allegra says to you, Esperanza, esto no eres tú. And you said, tienes razón. Esperanza murió hace 5 años. I'm only ultraviolet now.
Mm-hmm.
That was so impactful. And then you jump from the stairway and you land.
Yeah.
That was epic. Can you talk about that scene?
Well, first of all, it makes me so happy, like how well you know these episodes. I'm like, yes. um, it was like it's almost like when you get, the way I see it, I guess, when you get bullied in high school and then you come out and then it's like you become like the best version of yourself, and it's like, no, that person is gone. Like that person that you were like that you forgot about and whatever, and that could still hear you out, gone. Like this is who I am now. Like remember me. That same like thing that I was saying, like when walking in, it's that like face to face, here I am. Like this is the me now. Fran's like, yeah,
And, and you
gone.
know, yeah, and you know what? I love the way that you said your lines. I mean, they were so perfectly said. When I first heard you speak Spanish, I was like, oh yeah, she knows Spanish.
Yeah, Spanish is my first
That,
language.
I was like, that was so perfect. And I'm not trying to knock anyone that does not know Spanish, okay? So, but the way you said it, wow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very well deserved. Very well deserved. The next question is our next fan question. How does it feel to play a villain?
It's fun. It's really fun. It's that idea of not having to censor yourself. You just get to like speak out whatever you want to say, or like you get to be like explosive, I guess. Like the part of you that you would
That
be like, no, that'd be bad. It's like, yeah, that's what I am. Okay, cool. I get to go along with it.
bad guys and bad girls have more fun. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Who thought it'd be so fun being a bad guy?
um, do you often see art of your character in the Flash fandom?
Art, no, but I get to see a lot of edits, and that's really cool.
Did you know? I mean, I know you mentioned your cousins, but once you got the role, did you understand how big the fandom was, and did you realize that the fandom was gonna? No.
Not at all. Like, again, everything has just been a surprise as we've been going along. I had no idea. Like, it was just like really fun to do. And then the idea that other people were watching it too, I was like, oh, whoa, that's awesome. And then having people message me and stuff, it's just been like, wow, thank you. It's, yeah, it's all been a huge surprise.
And I'm glad that you're getting the recognition and very well deserved. What is your favorite Ultraviolet scene?
Ooh, my favorite. I think my favorite scene. It's so hard to choose. But I love the scene in the second episode when I'm walking in and I just get to go like this and then like blast it open and then it's like all the cameras, not cameras, all the TVs and everything starts going crazy and then the fight sequence goes on. But it was so fun to do because everything started going crazy. It was cute to go crazy after I went like this. So it felt so real in the moment that I got to just walk in and blast it and go crazy. Like it was just so empowering in a way. I think that has been one of my favorites. I think it's hard to pick one single favorite, but we'll say that one.
Total badass. I'm telling you, total badass. What was the most difficult scene to film?
The most difficult scene to film, I think, was the one where I have to encounter my cousin on episode 19 because I was very like stressed because I really wanted to do her justice. I was like, okay, this is the one chance she gets to actually say how she feels or like why she's been doing what she's been doing. So I was very much like, okay, I gotta make sure I get everything out properly. And I hope that it turned out that way. I don't think there's ever a perfect way of doing it. But that was one of the most stressful, I guess, scenes for me to do.
And that's when you had the flashback and you were being tortured by the black hole.
That was the right before part. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that was intense. But that final fight scene, that was intense. There was so much going on that you had to have multiple camera angles capturing all the action at once.
Yeah. That was a 3-night shoot. It was so crazy, so much fun. I didn't see the sun in like 3 days, right? Because I would be going home in like the AM, sleeping the whole day to just go back at night. There were so many people there, which is crazy to think now because of COVID. And that was possible
Yeah.
once upon a time. A lot of fights, like a lot of stunt people around, but everything was coordinated perfectly. It was so much fun.
It looked like fun, and those fight sequences, whoever coordinated all that, great work because
Yeah.
wow, that was amazing. That could have been in a major motion picture, that last fight scene.
It was crazy.
And every time the Flash does something like that, it just it gets me so giddy. It gets me so happy because that's what a lot of people want, right? They want those fight scenes where you can see everyone's powers
Mhm.
unleashed. And that was amazing. Kudos to you and the entire casting
Thank you.
crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's get to some. If you guys have questions for Alexa, you guys, there's a little question mark down there. So let's go ahead and start getting some of those. So
Yes.
let's
Ask
take a
away.
look.
Hello, Aubrey.
Let's take a
Oh wait, not right.
look. Let me see if you can see that.
Oh, okay. Alexa, do you think Mila, Esperanza, and Kimio live together and chill when they aren't on mission? I hope so. I feel like they would all be great friends. Can you just picture them like having coffee? Because I can't. I don't even know if I could. Could I take my mask off? I don't really know how that would work.
I thought it was pretty cool that that Ava came and pretty much swept you away from from her husband, right? Because you were getting a raw deal. Your character was getting a raw deal, and I think that all three of you ladies are getting a much better deal now. What do you think?
So. I hope so. Yeah, I think it's nice to know that we're not under Carver anymore.
Let's see. We got some more questions here. See, we got the same question again, but you don't have to answer that. She has an NDA, you guys. No, don't ask about next season. So the season was cut short due to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you guys were slated to do, correct me if I'm wrong, 20 or 22 21 episodes, right?
I can't remember if it was 21 or 22. I'm not 100%.
When you got that call, I mean, did they call you and say, "Hey, we're done for the season. COVID is just there's too much danger here." How did that come about?
Um, I didn't get a call. I believe my last episode of the season was episode 19 anyways, so to me it actually kind of worked in my favor that that ended up being the finale, but I'm sure everything will go as planned now for coming season.
And moving forward, I have seen that there's a lot of precautions, right? Actors are being constantly tested every day. They have their mask on prior to filming, and then they're standing within the 6 feet apart. I think it's going to be a lot of work for the extra work, right? To get those camera angles to make it look like they're right in front of each other. But kudos to everyone that that's working out there, and God bless their
Yeah.
souls, because it's very difficult. Now, I got to ask you, I do know that you went to Greece a couple of years ago, correct?
I did, yeah.
And I got to ask you, you being Mexican Canadian,
Yes.
going to Greece, they have the gyro. Do they, here in America, the gyro is I love gyros. Do they serve gyros in Greece?
The gyro, what's the gyro?
They have it's the bread with the lamb inside. It's almost like a taco.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I can't remember, to be honest, if I had any over there. I'm pretty sure I did. I think we went to like we went to a restaurant once and they just like gave us like a platter with veggies, and I think the gyro was there. Gyro, that's such a funny word. I don't think we call it something different here, I'm pretty sure. But I can't
Because
remember.
when you a lot of folks that I've talked to that go to like Italy, they're like, "Oh yeah, there's no pizza over there." They do have pizza, but it's not the same. It's not Americanized. So I was trying to I didn't know whether the gyro was the same in Greece as over here, because I love gyros.
I love
How
gyros.
was how was that trip? How was that experience for you?
Oh, it was so fun. It was very nerve-wracking at first because my mom messed up the flights. And so
Uh-oh.
we went from Vancouver to England. We can't remember where it was that we landed, but it was somewhere in England. And then from there, she took a straight flight to Athens. I think that's how you say
Uh-huh.
it. And mine had to go like to 3 other places, and then I went there. So I had to be like on my own, some like scattered around Europe. So that was a bit scary, but it worked out, and it was a really, really fun trip. I was only there for like a week, I think, but it was very, very, the views were amazing, and the people there are so nice.
I gotta go because the pictures you posted. I mean, it looks so amazing there, and I want to go there one day.
You have
One
to.
day I'll go. You have another question, Alexa, down there. Do you see it?
Is it okay that I call your character Sunshine Light makeup teams? Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. I've seen that before. Yes, I love it. Super cool. Hopefully that sticks.
Someone just asked, do you watch anime?
Oh my god. This is my friend Edward. No, he's been trying to get me to watch it for so long, and I'm like, I don't think so. Maybe at some point. Maybe. But not yet.
Let me see. Uh, do you love Tom Cavanaugh?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I got to work with him for episode 19 when my cousin's doing this stone, and that's when we really got to like work together, and he's amazing. He's incredible. He always brings
I
something
got.
new and says,
He seems like it's such a cool guy. I just met him in San Diego. I met him in 2019 Comic-Con, and he's so nice, so cool, so down to
yes,
earth.
yes.
Um, and I've also met Grant, and to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the impression I get of Grant. I've met him like 3 times, and every time I've talked to him, he seems like such an introvert to me.
Yeah,
Do
I
you,
could see that. Yeah.
right?
He's super
He's so
like
cool, but
chill.
very reserved.
Yeah, he's very chill. I remember it was like my it was the first day that we were shooting, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hi, nice to meet you. Like, I'm Grant Gustin." So I think I first like impression of him was always like, this guy's awesome.
That's awesome. Let's see if we have any more questions. Here's another one.
Oh, I love you too. My favorite song right now is Breeze Blocks. That's like I'm listening to it on repeat.
Nice. Let's see here. I think that's all we have. Oh, wait a minute. Someone just said this.
I'm so proud of you. Aw, thank you. That's my friend Luli.
Let's see what else we have. I think that's all we have. Um, yeah, that's all we have. So I just
Awesome.
want to thank you from the bottom of my heart,
Aw,
Alexa, for
thank
joining my
you.
speedcast. I'm truly, truly proud of you. You know, I wish you much, much success in the future. Like I said in the opening, you are a rising star in the industry, and you know, I mean, I think you are going to do amazing and great things moving forward. Um, and I wish you the best of luck. And thank you for representing, you know, the Latino community. And, you know, before we go, I just want to ask you if there are any projects you would like to announce, or is there anything you would like to say to all your fans?
I won't talk about any projects, but I will say, like, to all my fans, thank you. Thank you so, so much for all the support. It really, really does mean the world to me. Even like those little messages that you guys send me really help me keep going. So thank you so, 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 so much.
Very well said. I hope to have you on my Speedcast sometime in the future after your next project. Would you be willing to come back?
Yeah, of course. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your time, and I wish you much, much, much success, mucho éxito. I hope, you know, like I said, the sky's the limit with you. You're amazing.
With everyone.
And yeah, and God willing, when this pandemic is over, you know, and we do have the cons, I can't wait to meet you in person if we get an opportunity. But thank you so, so, so much. You are awesome. Keep doing what you do. Keep making us proud. And you and your family, please stay safe
Yes.
and take lots of care.
Thank you. Thank you so, so much. I wish you all the best too. Everything likewise. And yes, hopefully we can meet once COVID is a bit more settled.
Thank you so much. You totally rock. Have a enjoyable rest of your day.
You
Take
too.
lots of
Thank
care.
you so, so much. And thank you to everyone who joined.
Thank you, everyone, for joining the Speedcast. Everyone, be safe out there. Wear
Yes.
your mask and please vote.
Yes, go vote.
Take
Okay.
care, Alexa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.